Shaktam Sri Guru Sri Juta Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitangscha Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karuti Vachalam Pangalang Hayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Nindantam Pulakot Korena Bikasam Nipa Prasunat Chavim Prodrikritva Bujadvayam Hari Hari Tuchai Vidantam Muhu Nityantam Jutamasru Nirjara Chaye Sanchantam Urvitalam Gayantam Nija Parasadai Parivritam Shigaurachandram Nama Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Hemavadivyascha Visundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghurego Sri Jiva Gopalako. Didn't have the opportunity to say something in praise of Srinivas Acharya. Srila Guru Maharaj reminds us that by glorifying the great devotees and by hearing their glories, that's the pathway to liberation from this world. As we heard from Prahlad Maharaj the other day, Mahi Yasham Parvajo Bhishekam Nishkinchana Nam Navrinite Yava Pararaja Abhishek. Pararaja means the dust of the lotus feet. Abhishek means bathed. Bathed in the dust of the lotus feet. What does that mean? Beyond the literal sense. Means bathed in hearing their glories, chanting their glories, following their instructions, of which their life is the example of that. They personify that. Their devotional personality is a lens on Krishna conception. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santak Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Yogis meditate on the Paramatma, but here it doesn't say that the devotees meditate on the Paramatma. Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. What? Yang Shama Sundaram Achindra Guna Swarupam. The Achintya Guna Swarup, the inconceivable qualities of the divine form of Shama Sundar Krishna. That's whom they're meditating upon in their hearts, because their hearts are saturated with Krishna Prem. Right? Not abstract meditation or jnanic knowledge, but love and affection, pure love and affection that's irresistible to the Lord. Right? Just like Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, and the stage of Bhava Bhakti, Shraddha, Sarusanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhav. Just before Prem, saying the Bhakti Lata Bij has flowered, and that flowering devotion has a particular aroma, unique, and that is attractive to Krishna. to all attractive Krishna. It's an inconceivable thing. But such is the power, Sri Krishna Karshini Chasa, that all attractive, irresistible Krishna, ahoy tukiya pratita, he is irresistibly drawn in attraction to the flowering devotion in the heart of a devotee. What to speak of the greater devotee? We can take it, Rupa Goswami is giving that rule there, or not rule, it's beyond rules, but that observation. Then what to speak of what's in the heart of the purest devotees of the Lord? So we're told in case of Srinivas Acharya, his father's name was Padmanabha, and Nimai Pandit was known to him. So in his village, when he got word that Nimai Pandit is taking sannyas, he ran there, and Guru Maharaj's words, he observed the whole ceremony, everything. And remember, this is beyond ceremonial. Those are just words to help us. But Guru Maharaj's Premadama Stotram Laksha Lochaneshu sloka, where he's saying, tears fell from the eyes of millions as they beheld the sannyas of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So beautiful he was, that it was painful, so painful in the hearts of the devotees to see his beautiful hair shaved away and his head shaven. So much so, to this day, all of our deities show Mahaprabhu as Nimai Pandit. That gives you a hint of how heartbreaking, unbearable it is for the devotees. They can't bear to see him like that. So all of our deities, Mahaprabhu is as Nimai Pandit, with beautiful hair and nice dress. The deities do not wear saffron. Right? That's why Guru Maharaj told the white bead bag, not some other colors, but never saffron. Because deity does not wear the dress of a sannyasi. As observed by Narhar Sakur Thakur, his own unique way of saying, Gopi Nam Kuchakum Kamena Nichitam Bhasha Kima Sharanam, where he says to Nimai, he says, I don't recognize your sannyas. Is this a joke? That Krishna from Vrindavan, the Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Krishna, with the hundreds of thousands, millions, billions, trillions of gopis, Krishna, the womanizer from Vrindavan, he's taken sannyas. That impossible. And they say, but no, look, see, saffron cloth. And you go, no. That is from contact with the Braja Gopis. Your cloth has become dyed like that. I don't accept it. So Narhar Sakur Thakur, Guru would say, he's a unique devotee with a unique way of seeing things. That's unique to him. Not to be imitated, but appreciated, and in a particular context. And then we can understand if the devotees, this is a little extreme for most, but that they won't even view the deities and sannyas deity, there is none, of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Always shown so how much love and affection they have, and that father of Srinivas Acharya sees this unbearably painful event But why? Kaviraj Goswami reveals in his book that he says is not written by him, but by Madan Mohan. He said, I'm just parroting what Madan Mohan says, then I write that down. Like a scribe. Madan Mohan is, and Kaviraj Goswami said, I'm writing that. Right? And there's Baihe Bishajalahoy, Bitare Anandamoy Krishna Premar Adbhuta Charit. Why we talk about these painful things? It's painful, unbearably painful, and simultaneously a shower of nectar upon the heart. Pidabir Navakalakuta Katuta Garbhasya Nivasano. Rupa Goswami slok, favorite of Srila Gurudev, Antilila. What is, he's saying, what is Mahaprabhu's tasting matter? Krishna, Govindam, that Adi Purush, that enjoyer, supreme, billions of gopis, trillions of gopis. We told, and Gurudev said, in Vaikuntha, one Lakshmi, one Narayan. In Goloka, one Krishna, a trillion gopis, a trillion Lakshmis for one Krishna. What is his enjoying capacity? But that is not the nature of these pastimes. We heard recently on the appearance day of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, we read something from Srila Saraswati Thakur's introduction to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, where he's saying it is a, what is the proper word? You know, a like a devastating, tragic mistake to try and impose the enjoyment pastimes of Krishna upon Gaur Leela. Disastrous if one makes that mistake. Narahari Thakur is not making that mistake. He's genuine and he sees this delightful way. When Guru Maharaj would tell that sloka, he would slap his chair laughing and delight. That is unique to him. There are others, and his name, Sahajya, Gauranga Nagaribad, meaning imposing the position of an enjoyer upon Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He did not even have such a relationship with Lakshmi Priya or Vishnu Priya, his beloved consort wives. So what to speak of others? So that Krishna, when he descends into this world, why has, what are we told? Kaviraj Goswami reveals, Radha Bhava Duti Subalita, enveloped in the heart and halo of Srimati Radharani. That means this sort of enjoying spirit is not possible. There are no parallel pastimes for Radharani to take the position of Krishna and experience enjoyment. It is antithetical to the culture of devotion. But Krishna, in other words, by her association with Krishna, he did not awaken the enjoying spirit within her, the enjoying tendency, and for her to wonder what it is like to be able to enjoy trillions of gopis. There's no such thing. It's antithetical to the culture of devotion. Yet, in her association, awakened within Krishna, the curiosity, what it is like to be a devotee, and not only any devotee, but her. What is she experiencing? How beautiful is that? And unique and unparalleled and not even hinted at anywhere. What to speak of any other religions in the world, within the spiritual world, within the Vaikuntha world. There's no parallel. There's nothing that remotely is like this. Aparam Kasyapi, Pranayi Janavrinda Shukutuki, Rasotstamam Hritva Madhuram Upaboktam Kamapiya. Kautuki means curiosity. And as Guru Maharaj is told, he plunders the wealth of the heart. The wealth is the heart of Srimati Radharani. So that the remainder is Gadadhar Pandit. And Acharya Leela of Radha and Krishna is Gaur Gadadhar. So he observed that, and he went back and he was so devastated and transported to another domain that when he returned and people would say like, what did you see? His name was Padmanabha. He would say, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. And we're told for some time, whatever anyone said to him, all he would say, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. And he became known as Chaitanya Das. That's all. So, like he saw something so astonishingly wonderful, painfully beautiful. That's all he could say. We're told that later in Puri, perhaps he went to see Chaitanya Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu was very pleased with him and his family, and told, like, you will have a very devoted son. That is my, benediction to you, and it will come to pass. You will have an extremely great devotee as your child. And so later appeared Srinivas Acharya, who Srila Guru Maharaj says at the age of like perhaps 14, 15, he is mad to get the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like we heard about the madness of Raghunath Das Goswami, running like a madman for 10 days or so from West Bengal to Puri. But in the case of Srinivas Acharya, the news comes to him that Mahaprabhu has left the world. And for us to have some sort of insight, we think that such great devotees, like we hear, remember, Krishna Leela is manifesting as Gaur Leela. There's a parallel, like we talk about Govardhan, Gupta Govardhan, hidden. So, what do we hear about Krishna Leela? Atati yad bhavan anikananam tutirugayate tvamapashyatam kutila kundalam srimukam jate yada dikshitam pakshmakridrasham. The gopis cursing Brahma for making eyelids. It's a peculiar fault to detect. They're saying, why a fault? Because Krishna's, as we said, achintya guna swarup, inconceivably beautiful, and our eyes are drinking the nectar of the beauty of Krishna, and then the blinking comes. What a fool you are! You don't know how to make eyes properly. So, if you take that and then you apply it to Gaur Leela, it has to be similar. Therefore, it's again unbearable heartbreak for the devotees to experience separation. Like we know, they're living in Navadvip, and Shivananda Sen takes 200 Maha Bhagavata Vaishnavas to Puri every year. But that time comes where they have to return. Endless heartbreak. But for someone of the quality, you see the effects of observing the sannyas lila of Mahaprabhu and the father, Padmanabha. Think of Srinivas Acharya, to, with great anticipation, proceed towards Puri and find that Mahaprabhu has left the world is devastating. But in his case, his light will think like, how much can one heart take? Right? And the only way we can possibly accommodate it is that by understanding that the greater the separation and the depth of separation, the greater the magnitude of and yield of divine love and affection. So Srinivas Acharya, he seeks out Gadadhar Pandit. Right? And Gadadhar Pandit is saying, oh, Mahaprabhu told me about you. How wonderful that is. Right? He's with Gadadhar Pandit. You know, and Gadadhar, oh, Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu said, what I've got, I should teach that to you. So you will be my student. And there were very special things in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Those verses that I would share with Mahaprabhu to assuage the anguish of his heart in the depths of separation. Though I want to share that with you. But my tears have washed away the verses. Right? As Guru Maharaj in his Gadadhar Pranam, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur collected 1,000 slokas from the Bhagavat Sun, the 18,000 raid sun of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Gadadhar Pandit collected 1,000. Bhaktivinoda Thakur collected 1,000, presented at Bhagavat Arka Marichimala. Right? Guru Maharaj had a mind to collect a few hundred. Wrote a Vyasloka and Gadadhar Pranam, Radharani Pranam. And I believe that this gave some indication of the selection, the quality of sloka, of selection, because Gadadhar Pandit would give Bhagavatam class almost daily. Someone, artist, made a picture and you see there's Gadadhar Pandit, and then you see Mahaprabhu and all the other, Srip Damodar Raman, all these other great devotees, Haridas Thakur on the side. Imagine Gadadhar Pandit. It's like Radharani herself giving a Bhagavatam, explaining the Bhagavatam. That's why in the slok, Guru Maharaj says, Yadamya Mahima Sri Bhagavat Yam Katayam Pratipatan Anubhutam Apya Labdhabideya Tadakila Rasam Mritamurti Shamalila Avalambam Madhura Rasadi Sri Radha Padapadmam Prapadye. Although her name is not mentioned there ostensibly, but encrypted, an Aradita, the one who worshipped Krishna the best, the gopi who worshipped Krishna the best, that's how she is called there. Right? Two reasons. One, given that mixed group, so not to be so specific. And the mixed group are the greatest sages assembled from all over the universe. So what is the quality and subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam? but others, Sanatana Goswami Prabhu says in his Tika of Brihad Bhagavatamritam, that Sukadeva Goswami, if he vibrates the holy name of Srimati Radharani, it will ignite a fire of separation in his heart so great it will devour him and he will become dysfunctional. He won't be able to do the seva that he's doing of expressing Srimad Bhagavatam. So Guru is saying, so although ostensibly her name is not mentioned there, every step on Pratipada means every step, every sloka, every part of the way is meant to take us in one direction. The service of her holy lotus feet. Nirmat Saranam Satam. It's the book that is, the Krishna book is necessarily the book of devotion. It must shine a spotlight on devotion to the greatest devotee of Krishna. Right? So that she will how do you say, interpret the slokas of the Bhagavatam is inconceivable, yet there. And in Guru Maharaj's story, Nilambodhi on the banks of the broad blue ocean, when Krishna is feeling separation from himself as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Gadadhar Pandit is supplying slokas like intoxicants to relieve the grief in the heart of Mahaprabhu. And it said, and as he's singing these verses, tears are streaming from his eyes onto the pages as if they're offerings. You should offer some flowers in the reading. That is a tradition. Should offer some flowers. The flowers are the tears coming from the eyes of Gadadhar Pandit, and they're falling onto the pages of the Bhagavatam and washing away those slokas. Right? So Gadadhar Pandit tells Srinivas Acharya, what I want to teach you, that's been washed away by my tears. We need another Bhagavatam. So he goes to Sri Khanda, where that Narhar, Sakar, Thakur I mentioned before, their specialty, their scribes, they make another Bhagavatam. It takes some time, maybe a couple months. Srinivas Acharya comes back and hears that Gadadhar Pandit has left the world. That's Srinivas Acharya who wanted to get the connection of Mahaprabhu. Now here's Gadadhar Pandit has left the world after being told, Mahaprabhu told me to teach you the Bhagavatam. Guru Maharaj points out, because it is the will of Mahaprabhu, it must manifest in time to the faithful devotee. Devastated, Srinivas Acharya, with Nartam, Shamananda, the thing. Then we must go and find the Parshadas of Mahaprabhu that remain in this world, Rup Sanatan. In one place was Abhiram Thakur. We were told this, Sridham and Krishna Lila, one of the 12 Dwadasha Gopals, the 12 principal cowherd boys, associates of Nityananda Prabhu. And we know he has a whip named Jai Mangal. Even his whip is Chinmoy. And if he will whip someone with that, they will get Krishna Prem. And so once he was whipping someone, and his wife came and said, Prabhu, stop, I don't think he can take that much Prem. But Srinivas Acharya is saying, here, this Parshada, Mahaprabhu, still here in this world, and wants to see him, goes with the intent of like an honor as Guru Varga. Guru. Right? We say, Agyanatamrandasya. We have a particular way of seeing, what is it? we have a particular way of seeing, but this sloka, the primal guru sloka, talks about removing the cataractous eye of ignorance, which Guru Maharaj calls acquired prejudice and acquired tendency. At every moment we're being deceived by the objective world. And it has captured our faith to a large degree. Right? So, Abhiram Thakur, many have heard this metaphor, I guess. You know, if the Guru says, it's a snake, a rope, calls the rope a snake, you see a snake. If he calls a snake a rope, you see a rope. Yeah. Theoretically, we hear that, or that level of faith in the vision of Sri Guru, as opposed to one's own assessment of things. But Abhiram Thakur did that to Srinivas Acharya. So while they're talking, he says, "Prabhu, watch out, look, there's a snake." Srinivas Acharya, oh, yeah. Then Abhiram said, "Oh no, it's not a snake, it's a rope." Oh, yeah, I see. No, it's a snake. Oh. He wanted to see, does he have that sort of faith? And whatever he sees, Abhiram Thakur sees, Srinivas Acharya sees. And don't miss the point too. Understand, through that, think about that. That means what he's seeing, what Guru is seeing, you will see. You will see in that way. It's easy to talk about these things. We're told by hearing about these great Vaishnavas and glorifying them. Mahat sevam dwaram ahura vimukte. The door to the spiritual world is opened. The super subjective world. And of course, Guru Maharaj would say, and the super subjective. The aprakrita zone of Krishna. So that Srinivas Acharya makes his way to Vrindavan. You see his qualification. And so he wants to find Sanatana Goswami Prabhu and take his shelter, and the news comes that Sanatana Goswami Prabhu is left to the world. So how much can one heart take of this? Mahaprabhu, then Gadadhar Pandit, now Sanatana Goswami, with increased speed, they're heading towards Vrindavan. When they reach Mathura, they hear that Rupa Goswami has left the world. Make their way to Govinda temple. Govinda Ji, those who've been there, have been there at that time fully, extent with seva and arati, huge observance going on, kirtan, and it's just too much for the heart of Srinivas Acharya. He faints and awakens in the ashram of Jiva Goswami Prabhu. So, as Guru Maharaj said, because it is Mahaprabhu's will that this Bhagavatam of Gadadhar Pandit's heart come to him, then ultimately that's coming to him, but through Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu. And not only that, but he is entrusted by Jiva Goswami with all the books of the Goswamis, including Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam. So we're told he takes initiation from Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Shyamananda Prabhu from Jiva Goswami, Narottam Thakur from Lokanath Goswami. And as they go off on their different preaching assignments, Narottam will go to the north, Shyamananda, as they're getting ready to do this, all these books are loaded into 2 bullock carts in trunks, and as you know, there are minor kingdoms in India in different zones, and this local chief, Birambir, that he's the leader of the Adivasis, means like primitive people, practically. Natives, but they have their culture. I mean, he hears Bhagavatam every day, but just not the higher section of society. And some of his advisors are astrologers, and they say that there is an inconceivably valuable treasure entering the kingdom, carts full of jewels, of gems, of inconceivable value. Right? Like Chintamani gems. So somehow his men steal those bullock carts with the trunk that have all the works of the Goswamis, including Chaitanya Charitamritam. And of course, they're devastated, but they decide Narottam will continue on, Shyamananda will continue on, and Srinivas Acharya, his mission is to somehow find those books, return. But in the process, he is, in Guru Maharaj's words, half mad. He's lost his mind. He can't. Jiva Goswami entrusted all the writings of the Goswamis with me, and I've lost them. Like after all this, hear from Mahaprabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, and then they're given to him and lost on his watch. So he doesn't know what to do. People think he's mad, talking to himself, thinking like, what did I do? What did I have done wrong? And that Birambir, local chief, he has his Bhagavatam recitation every afternoon, and his interpreter's name happened to be Vyas. So Srinivas Acharya, he will go there and sort of sit on the side and listen to the Bhagavatam for some consolation. And while listening, that guru, Vyas, he makes a mistake. And he made Srinivas Acharya is just following everything. And then he just says, he corrects the mistake. Not an arrogant thing, he's just, no, you mean to say this. And they're like, what? Who said that? And they go like, what do you know? Who are you? He explains, I am such and such, and I could explain more of this line of interpretation. All these holy books entrusted to me by Jiva Goswami, where I could draw this line of interpretation from, they've been lost. And then that king says, oh, are these those books? We couldn't understand them. Right? So they come back to him. And Srinivas Acharya, we know he composed this astakam called the Sad Goswami Astakam, prayers to the 6 Goswamis. Very favorite to Srila Swami Maharaj. He sang it many times, And interestingly, I think each time he sang it with a different melody. The most famous one is like Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro. But many times he did. So, like to read those verses? He's saying, so the first one, Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritam Boni Dhi Dira Dira Jana Priyo Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Kripabaro Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako Bande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Shri Jiva Gopalako. There's this Krishna Utkirtan. Gan. Gan means song, and so on. Saying, what are they all? What are their activities? They're always engaged in Krishna Kirtan and singing and dancing. And it says, Premamritam Bonidhi. This is Prabhupada's translation. He said, they're just like an ocean of love of God. Dira Dira Jana Priyo Priyakaro. Nirmatsaro, and they're very dear to everyone, whether they are dira or adira. And he says, the gentle and the ruffians. You know, it's kind of being generous. Like Guru Maharaj said that Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, among the, remember, there are great devotees who know who these great devotees are. And then there's regular people, like Gurudev says, simple-hearted people who just like them or interacting with them. And also know that they're like Mahatmas. But Guru Maharaj said they would call Sanatana Goswami Prabhu Buro Baba. Like, you know, grandfather, old grandfather, you know, they had much affection for him. They want to do things for him, serve him, assist him in some particular way. And everyone likes him. Like Srila Gurudev would sometimes say, he's also guru of like gundas, of gangsters, like they will like him too, besides the non-gangster section. Dira Dira means non-gangster section and the gangster section. And it says, why? Nirmatsaro Pujito, because they're not envious of anyone. What are we told in the beginning of the Bhagavatam? Here's that word, Nirmatsarja, non-envious. Janmadhyasyaton Dharmak Projita Kaitavo Traparamo Nirmat Saranam Satam. And then, what does he say? Sri Chaitanya Kripa Boro Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarako. And they're distributing the mercy of Mahaprabhu to everyone throughout the world. Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kunipano Shaddharma Sangstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Srijivago Palago. And like those books given in our Srinivas Acharya, Nana, the various scriptures, Shastra Nipun, like what Saraswati Thakur said about Srila Guru Maharaj. Nipun means expert. Saying Shastra Nipun, here the same thing. They're the ones who are extracting everything. It is arrogance and foolishness on our part to think we will read these different books and extract what is essential from there. Right? There's an ocean of spiritual books. Right? they are the expert of the extraction. Right? Like Achinoti Yashastrartram. Guru Maharaj saying, what is the Acharya? One who can extract the inner meaning of the scripture. What is Veda Vyas? After he composed so many books, composed so many, what does he say? Sarva Vedantam Saram Hi Sri Bhagavatam Ishyate. The Saram means the cream. You see, the cream is the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why I'm presenting it to you. And then what does he say? Tad rasamritam triptasya. If you taste what is in here, you'll be fully satisfied. Nan yatra shad ratikvachit. And you'll lose attraction for reading anything else. If you taste this. If you do not taste this, then what can be said? Saying, but if you taste this substance, you'll lose your taste for anything else. So you see, what do the Goswamis emphasize? What are they giving? That's what's being told here. They're the ones who are extracting from them. What are they extracting? Radha Dasyam. Like Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Radhe Vrindavanadishe Kornamrita Vahini. Guru Maharaj. And Israel, extracting the same thing. Extracting from the Bhagavatam. It leads to the service of the holy lotus feet of Radharani. In pursuit of which, the Braja Gopis, they're ready, to tyag dharma. They're not interested in being dharmic. Krishna says, Sarva, give up all conceptions of dharma and come to me. That's the call of Krishna. Right? So, what did it say? Arja patam chihitva. They rejected that. That's what Uddhava observes in them. Asamahota, and saying, they're so great. I just want to be a blade of grass. When their lotus feet are moving in the plane of service, some dust from their lotus feet will come upon me, thereby consecrating my existence. Right? Lokanam hitakarano tribhuvane. That means for the benefit of everyone. Manyo sharanya karo. The dharma they're interested in establishing is sarva dharma and paritra, giving up everything and coming to Krishna. And what is the last line? Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko. They are always absorbed in the mood of the gopis, engaged in the service of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. Sri Gauranga Gunanuvarnana Vito Shraddha Samridyan Vito Papo Tapa Nikrintano Tanu Britam Govinda Ganam Ritai Anandam Burivardhanai Kanipano Koivaya Nistarako, Bande Rupa Sanatano, Raghuyago, Srijiva Gopalako. So they're always Gauranga Gunanuvarnana. They're always singing the glories of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. When Guru Maharaj speaks of the, when he is, how do you say, encapsulating the conceptual architecture of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat and the Mat's Pranam. He says, what are the primary activities of the members of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat? Gauragata Grinanti. Same thing here. Gauranga Gunanuvarnana. They're always saying the glories of Mahaprabhu. Their emphasis is upon Mahaprabhu, the teachings of Mahaprabhu. Why Mahaprabhu? Because, what do we say? Radha Bhava Duti Sibolita. Mahaprabhu is Krishna enveloped in the heart of Srimati Radharani. This is the focal point of all devotees in this line. Right? Then what does it say? They can purify all conditioned souls from the reactions of their sinful activities by doing what? Pouring on them transcendental songs about Govinda. Govinda Ganamritai. And he says, as such, they are very expert in increasing the limits of the ocean of transcendental bliss, and they are saviors of the living entities from the devouring mouth of liberation. That's Kaivalya. And here, Tyaktva Turnamashesha Mandalapati Swanim Sadatu Chavat Budvadina Ganeshako Korunaya Kopina Kantasrito Gopi Bhava Rasamritabdila Hari Kalola Magno Mahur Bande Rupa Sanatano Ragoyago Srijivago Palako. So I mentioned the other day, 50 years ago, joining the Sri Sri Radha Krishna Temple in San Francisco. Thank you. And a month later, Srila Prabhupada comes for the Rath Yatra, and this verse here, this is what he quotes when he's in one of his classes he is giving to the devotees. So you think about it. At the time, I was 19. Other people were my age or a little older. So, and he's not, he's going, you know, Tyaktva Turnamashesha Mandalapati Shranim Sadat Tuchavat. He's quoting he's quoting Srinivas Acharya, Sudhir Goswami Astakam, explaining this to 19-year-olds in America. Why? What did I say in the beginning? By hearing about these great devotees and singing their glories, Mahat Sevan Dwara Mahur Vimukte, the door to the spiritual world is opened. We may not grasp it fully or understand it fully, but just by hearing this, it's making some impression upon the heart. It's not about a rational approach or rational argument to move someone from one position to another position. If there is no sukriti, there'll be no movement. Right? Agyata sukriti, gyata sukriti, shraddha. Shraddha, first above, so below the surface, agyata sukriti, unknowing contact. How many people went to that Rath Yatra festival? Just saw some big, beautiful chariots, you know, red, yellow, primary colors, a lot of red, yellow, blue, green, some black, cyan, magenta, yellow, CMYK, and heard the singing, dancing, and somehow came, saw the deity of Jagannath, were seen by the deity of Jagannath, may have chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, heard something from a pure devotee, about pure devotees, about pure devotion. Their hearts were touched, they took some prasadam. Agyata Sukriti transitions into Gyata Sukriti, knowingly, willfully participating for one's betterment. Shraddha, faith, the seeds of faith. Sadhu Sangha leads one to Sadhu Sangha, more development of faith. So he says, Chaktva Turnamashesha Mandala Pati Shranim Sada. And what is he saying? They, remember, Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami were advisors high up in the Muslim government of the day. Right? And what did Sanatana Goswami do at one point? I mean, like, in other words, a high-paid job, good, you know, prestige, everything. Here's that he's at home, called in sick. Right? But we're told he assembled a group of Brahmins to study the Bhagavatam. Brihad Bhagavatamritam. So he just leaves that. Rupa Goswami he leaves his situation. And Sanatana Goswami, he's jailed for doing that. Rupa Goswami bails him out of jail, basically. The rest is history, and they join Mahaprabhu. But it's saying, here it says, tuchavat. Tuch means like a little touch, just like insignificant. What would be very significant career achievement for someone in the objective world, they left it like it was nothing. Then Bhutva Dina Ganeshiko Kuruna Kopina Kantasrito. And what did they adorn them with? The kopin. Means loincloth, like of the Babaji, you know. Guru Maharaj said once he and Keshava Maharaj, they were preaching together, and there were some Babajis, and so they're trying to deal with them diplomatically, and at one point they're saying, you know, we worship the Babajis as higher than, you know, as the highest part, above the sannyasis. And they said that Babaji started becoming very happy to hear these things, and then because first he complained, he said, Saraswati Thakur is giving the Brahmin thread to those who are non-Brahmins, unqualified. And so they said to him, what is higher, the kopin of the Babaji or the Brahmin thread of Varnashram Babaji? The kopin, yeah, so they are our gurus, we worship them as higher. He's very happy, he said. So, but that you can give to anyone. That which is higher than Varnashram, the kopina, you can give to anyone, irrespective of caste. Right? But anyway, they're praising him, and he's getting very flattered. And then Guru Maharaj said, but then Keshav Maharaj and Guru Maharaj both told him, they said, but you know, the Babajis that we worship, you're not that. Don't think that because you're wearing the kopin, you know, that you've reached the level of Rupa and Sanatan. So here he says, why? Oh, here's the difference. Oops. This line is so, you know, Gopi Bhava Rasamrita Dilahari Kolo Lamagno Muhur. They're always, you know, drowning in an ocean of Gopi Bhav. Gopi Bhav Rasa Rasamritati. An ocean of nectarine rasa, drowning in the waves of that repeatedly. Then Kujat Ko Kilahangsa Sarasagana Kirne Mayura Kule Nana Ratna Nibadda Mula Vitapa Sri Jukta Brindavane Radha Krishna Maharnisham Prabhajato Jivartato Yomuda Bande Rupa Sanatano Raguyago Sri Jivago Palako. And here he's saying they're always worshipping Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, where there are what? Beautiful trees, full of fruits, flowers, and what else? If you hear in the verse, Kujat kokila. That means the sweet sound of the kokil. All right. Hangsa means swans. Sarasa Gana Kirne Mayur means peacocks. Nana Ratna Nibadda Mula Bitu, and under the trees, and the roots of the trees in Vrindavan are gems, Chintamani gems. Who do not bestow mundane wealth, He says, but the greatest boon of the goal of life. Then Samkhya Purvaka Namagana Natibi Kalavasani Krito Nidrahara Vihara Kadi Vidito Chatyanto Dina Triyo Radha Krishna Gunasmiter Madhuriman Nandena Sanmohito Bande Rupa Sanatano Raguyago Srijivago Palago. Samkhya Purvaka Nama means counting on beads, like we do. Mahaprabhu counted on, he had a sutra around his waist, like string, rope, knots, and he's pulling that. But the Goswami, they're in that way, or on the tulsi beads, counting, also doing those dandavats that people imitate. We should not imitate, but they're the source of that, doing dandavats around the holy dham. And we're told sleeping chori danda. Danda means 24 minutes. 2 dandas makes 48 minutes, which is a muhurta. Right, like Brahma Muhurta, it's a 48-minute period. Remember, there's 24 hours in a day, 24 60s, right? You can reverse it. That means there's 60 24s in a day. 60 24-minute periods. Or 30 48-minute periods. Okay. So, for Chori Danda means 1 hour and 36 minutes. It's 2 muhurtas. So we're told that's how much they would sleep a day. And we know Raghunatha, what are we told? Buttermilk in the leaf cup. And why buttermilk? Buttermilk means after you take the butter out of the milk, you're left with this like whitewash. And cowherd people have lots of this. It has no value, street value. So if you come, they'll easily give that to somebody. That's what Das Goswami is taking. And then we're told one day he sees the leaf cup is different, asks, where's this from? And they say, Saki Stali. That's the place of Chandravali and her associates, Radharani's opposition or competitor. So Das Goswami throws that away. On that day, he's not even taking the buttermilk. And what are they doing all the time? Radha Krishna Gunasmiter Madhuriman. And they're always remembering the qualities of Radha and Krishna. They're being nourished in that way, like Majchita, Madgata, Prana, Bodhayantas, Parasparam, Katayan Chastamam Nityam, Tushyanti Cha, Ramanti Cha. We shouldn't think they're doing some austerities to achieve Krishna consciousness. That's austerity in the mode of passion, according to the Bhagavad Gita. They're so absorbed in the inner world and the upper world and relishing, feasting on divine substance, they have the least need for anything external. Right? But they're the perfect picture of renunciation, like Vairagya Yug Bhakti Rasa Prayatnai. Then, number 7. Radha Kunda Tate Kalinda Tanaya Tire Chabong Shivate Premam Mara Vashada Shesha Dashaya Grusto Pramato Sada Gayanto Chakada Hare Gunu Baram Baba Vibhuto Muda Bande Rupa Sanatano Raguyago Sri Jiva Gopalako. On the Radha Kunda, on the banks of Radha Kunda, or the banks of the Jamuna, or Bangshibat. So they're going, remember Mahaprabhu told them, Rupa and Sanatan, to revive the holy places. They're like underground practically. It's not obvious where they are. But to them, just think, if the Braja Gopis from Vrindavan reappear 500 years ago, And some of them get an assignment from Mahaprabhu to go excavate or rediscover those places. They're the qualified people to do that. Right? They remember these places. But it's driving them mad also when they recall their pastimes with Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. So, different ecstatic symptoms on their divine forms. Then last, He Radhe Brajate Vike Chalalite, He Nanda Shuno Kuta, Sri Govardhana Kapa Padapa, Tale Kalindi Bane Kuta, Goshanta Viti Sarvato Brajapure, Pure Kedar Mahavivalo, Vande Rupa Sanatano, Ragurigo, Shrijivako Palagam. And this is search for Sri Krishna. Hey Radhe Brajadevi Ke Chalalite, Hey Nanda Shuno Kutaha. They're saying, where are they? They're searching for Radha, the Brajadevi. That means Radha the Brajadevi, and Lalita, her assistants. And said Nanda Shuno, Nanda Shuno means the son of Nanda Maharaj. They're saying, where are they? They're searching for them. The wealth is in the search. Or are they in Govardhan? Or on the banks of the Kalindi. Like that. Not that they've got. They're searching. It's the search for Sri Krishna. Bande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Sri Jiva Gopalago Sri Srinivas Acharya Prabhu Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hari Haraya Namo Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Kesavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Garadhara Shivasari Gaurmanda Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha. Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha. Jai Gori Charana Bandana. Sevi Bhakta Srinivasa. Janame Janame Mohe Yamilas. Jai Gosai Jai 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 Kulabasa. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gauranga, Jai Gauranga. Jai Gauranga, Jai Gauranga. Jai Gauranga, Jai Gauranga. Nanda Jaya Nitai Gauranga. Jai Sajanandana, Jai Satinandana. Jaya Satinandana, Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajaka Acharya Satara Sadhu Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Sabarikha Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhattu Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath, Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Srinivas Acharya Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Go Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai, Sri Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai, Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Om Vishnupad Vishva Bharanya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mata Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Bhimalavadut Maharaj Ki Jai, Seva Vrinda Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Go Premanande.
Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Krishna.
And Dandavat Maharaj.
Yes.
From Seva Rupa Didi, Mexico, Dhananjay Prabhu, Russia, Madhava Priya Didi, Ashapurna Didi, Kalyani Didi, USA, Adita Nandana Prabhu, Ukraine, United Kingdom, Suchitra Didi, Vijay Krishna Prabhu, London, Javier Ramirez, Rosemary Linares from Venezuela, living in the USA, Lila Sundari Didi, Australia, Nimai Priya Didi, Kyiv, Madhavi Didi and Atula Krishna Prabhu, Hungary, Krishna Lalana Didi, Ajita Krishna Prabhu from Russia, Gaura Nityananda Vrindavana de Renyosa, Jai Shri Guru, Jai Shri Gauranga, Dandavats Pranams Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj, Dandavats from Dayavati Didi, Banavi Yoga Barbara Baldacini. My humble pranams and dandavats to Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaja and all the assembled devotees. Then from Praneshwari Didi in Florida, USA, Pranams Maharaj, thank you for giving us so much hope. Obeisances to the assembled devotees on site and online. Then from Malika Didi, our Malika Drew,
Yeah.
Dandavats. From Braj Kumar, Dandavats Vaishnava Thakuras. From Nam Bhikshu Das from New York, Dandavat Pranams Srila Maharaji and all devotees of Nitai Gaur. Thank you for these regular classes. My family and I were missing them being daily. Gaura Mahan, my most humble Dandavats, Gasai Maharaj. Gaura Mahan, USA. And Purushottam Das, Salt Lake City, Dandavat Maharaj. And the last one. Then Escobar, Dandavats Maharaj, thank you so much for such a beautiful and amazing, beyond admiration, no words to express, Hare Krishna. And Vigraha Nyasi Maharaj, my Dandavat Pranam to Srila Maharaj Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Hi. Bhakti Vigraha Nyasi Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Jai. So Bhakti Asrai Dandi Maharaj Ki Jai. Our Nityananda Das. Dandavat. Sri Hari Prabhu in Brazil, Dandavat. Rupa Vilas Prabhu in the Philippines, Dandavat. Sandeep Maheshwari in New Delhi, but sometimes going Vrindavan, Govardhan, Mathura, also. Shamala Didi, Dandavat. Do you know where they are? Brajabala Didi, Dandavat. Chaitanya Nitai Prabhu, he's in Vrindavan, Dandavat. Lalita Priya Didi, Dandavat. Nimai Priya Didi in Kiev, Dandavat. Lila Sundar Prabhu in Kiev, Dandavat. Rasananda Prabhu in Sochi, Dandavat. Ajita Krishna Prabhu, maybe in Lakta, Dandavat. Endumukhi in China, Dandavat. Ekadashi Devi in Tomsk in Siberia with the beautiful deities. Hare Krishna. Madan Mohan Jiu Jai. Hare Krishna. Beautiful Tribanga Radharani. Abhiram Prabhu, Dandavat. Anantashesh Prabhu in Spain, Dandavat. Odar Jalila Didi, Dandavat. Soumya Sham Prabhu in Ors, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Nityananda Ram in Colombia, Dandavat Prabhu. Hare Krishna. At the lotus feet of Jagannath. Chandrakanti Didi Vasudevi. Hare Krishna. Jai. They're in Shenzhen in China. Hare Krishna. Anjali Dandavat. Hare Krishna, I think, in Ukraine? Yeah. Kumkum Didi and San Jose, Dandavat. Bhaktabandhu Prabhu, Dandavat. Is that everyone? Paramananda Prabhu at Govinda Farm, Dandavat. Rasananda Prabhu in the Ukraine, Dandavat. Kamalini Didi, Dandavat. Sulakshana is here, Dandavat. Gaurachandra Das in Russia, Dandavat. And Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj. And he's doing Dham Parikrama at Vila Govinda. Nimai Priya Didi Dandavat. So I thank everyone. All right. Vanchakalpa Tribhascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.